את הדבר הזה שנקרא חמאס, דאעש עזה, נמחה אותו מעל האדמה. הדבר הזה לא ימשיך להתקיים.
We're determined to make sure that Israel gets everything it needs to defend itself, to provide for the security of its people. Already, significant military assistance requested by Israel is on the way.
Magandang araw mga kabayan at kadepensa, may ibabahagi na naman ako sa inyo. Dahil ngayong araw na ito ay may pag-uusapan tayong tungkol sa nangyayari sa Israel. Israel nangakong pupulbusan ang Hamas sa buong mundo. Estados Unidos magpapadala pa ng pangalawang aircraft carrier sa Israel. Pero bago tayo magpatuloy, wag mo muna kalimutan mag-like, share, and subscribe. Paki-follow at like muna ng aming page na nasa description na ang link. Nagbigay ng matinding mensahe ang Israeli government sa militanteng Hamas patungkol sa pag-atake nila sa Israel, at sinabing ang pagganti nila ay ikakaubos ng grupong Hamas sa buong mundo.
אזרחי ישראל, הערב הקמנו ממשלת חירום לאומית. עם ישראל מאוחד, והיום גם ההנהגה שלו מאוחדת. אנחנו נלחמים באויב אכזר, אויב שהוא גרוע מדאעש. ראינו ילדים וילדות כפותים שנורו בראשם, אנשים ונשים שנשרפו בעודם חיים, צעירות שנאנסו ונטבחו, לוחמים שראשיהם נחרטו.
ואני אומר לכאן, לכולם, אנחנו נמחה את הדבר הזה שנקרא חמאס, דאעש עזה, נמחה אותו מעל האדמה. הדבר הזה לא ימשיך להתקיים.
העמידה שלנו כאן, שכם אל שכם, היא מסר ברור לאויבינו, וחשוב מכך, מסר לכל אזרחי ישראל. כולנו יחד, כולנו מתגייסים, כולנו מגויסים. בעת הזו, כולנו חיילים של מדינת ישראל. זה הזמן להתכנס יחד ולנצח.
Ang US ay maaaring magkaroon ng dalawang aircraft carrier sa silangang Mediterranean, ayon sa mga opisyal ng Departamento ng Depensa, isang hakbang na magmarka ng malaking paglaki ng kapangyarihang militar ng US sa rehiyon habang tumitindi ang labanan sa pagitan ng mga puwersang Israeli at mga militanteng Hamas. Ang aircraft carrier na USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, kasama ang mga nauugnay nitong barkong pandigma at fighter jet, ay naka-schedule na umalis mula sa Norfolk, Virginia, ngayong linggo, at maaaring e-deploy sa mga tubig sa baybayin ng Israel, ayon sa dalawang Department of National Defense opisyal na binigyan ng anonymity upang talakayin ang mga operasyon sa hinaharap. Ang barko ay nakatakdang umalis sa Norfolk sa Biyernes at maaaring makarating sa silangang Mediterranean sa katapusan ng Oktubre kung ipapadala, sinabi ng isa sa mga opisyal ng DOD, sa puntong iyon. Sasamahan ng aircraft carrier na USS Gerald R. Ford at ang strike group nito, na iniutos ng Pentagon sa karagatan ng Israel noong linggo bilang pagpapakita ng puwersa pagkatapos ng mga sorpresang pag-atake sa katimugang Israel. Patuloy na susuriin ni Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin ang mga plano sa pag-deploy ng parehong mga barko, ang pambihirang paglipat sa potensyal na magkaroon ng dalawang aircraft carrier, na sinamahan ng mga cruiser, destroyer at fighter jet bilang bahagi ng kanilang mga strike group, sa parehong lugar ay magiging isang malaking senyales sa Hamas na sinusuportahan ng militar ng US ang Israel. Nag-deploy ang Pentagon ng dalawang carrier sa Middle East noong March 2020, sa gitna ng mas mataas na tensyon sa Iran. Noong panahong iyon, parehong nag-operate sa Arabian Sea ang Eisenhower at ang USS Harry S. Truman, kasama ang kani-kanilang mga escort. Nagsalita naman si US Secretary of State Antony Blinken patungkol sa pagtindig ng Estados Unidos sa pagsuporta sa Israel, at pupunta nga sa Israel mismo si US Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
We are heading, as you know, to Israel, and I'm going with a very simple and clear message on behalf of the President of the United States and on behalf of the American people. And that is that the United States has Israel's back. We have the back of the Israeli people. We have their back today. We'll have it tomorrow. We will have it every day. We stand resolutely against terrorism. We've seen the almost undescribable acts committed by Hamas against Israeli men, women, and children. Every day, we're learning more, and it is simply heartbreaking. Not since ISIS have we seen this kind of depravity, and we will continue to stand very resolutely against it. When I'm in Israel, I'll have the opportunity to meet with Prime Minister Netanyahu, President Herzog, other senior officials. I look forward to seeing our embassy team as well that's been doing terrific work during these difficult days. We're determined to make sure that Israel gets everything it needs to defend itself, to provide for the security of its people. Already, significant military assistance requested by Israel is on the way. That's on top of everything that we've been doing for years, including with the Memorandum of Understanding that was negotiated by President Obama to make sure that Israel has what it needs to defend itself. At the same time, we anticipate there'll be further needs, further requests. We've already been working closely with Congress on this, and we look forward to continuing to do that to make sure that Israel has what it needs. Second, we will be reaffirming the very strong message that President Biden has delivered to any country or any party that might try to take advantage of this situation. And that message is don't. The President has deployed, as you know, the world's largest aircraft carrier group to the region to make very clear our intent to deter anyone contemplating any further aggression against Israel. Finally, we're, of course, very focused on our own people, our own citizens. We lost 22 Americans. That number could still go up, and it probably will. At the same time, we have a number of Americans who remain unaccounted. We are working very closely with the government of Israel to determine their whereabouts and if they have been taken hostage by Hamas, to work to secure their release. So all of these things are on the agenda over the next day or so with Israel, but the main point is this. We stand with Israel. We'll continue to do so. Thank you.
Mr. Secretary, yesterday Jake Sullivan said that U.S. officials were talking to the Israelis about getting civilian safe passage through Gaza into Egypt. Today, John Kirby said they're still talking to officials about this. What is the holdup? What's the obstacle to getting civilian safe passage out of Gaza?
John, we are talking about that, and we're talking to Israel about that. We're talking to Egypt about that. It's an ongoing conversation. I can't get into the details. Some of this is, needless to say, and understandably complicated, but we want to make sure to the best of our ability, and I know Israel wants to make sure to the best of its ability that civilians are not harmed. But Israel has to take steps to defend itself. It has to make sure that any ongoing threat is dealt with, and I believe it has to make sure that going forward, what happened doesn't happen again.
Is the issue more on the Israeli side or the Egypt side?
I'm not going to get into the details, but it's an ongoing conversation.
And following up on that, in conversations between the U.S. and Israel, has the U.S. advocated any degree of restraint in terms of possible ground operations in Gaza, either for the sake of the civilians there or for the sake of hostages in there?
Well, again, I'm not getting into any of the operational details of what Israel may or may not do. I think you heard the President speak to this yesterday in his very, very strong and forceful comments. And of course, what separates Israel, the United States, and other democracies when it comes to incredibly difficult situations like this is our respect for international law and, as appropriate, the laws of war. We do everything we can to make sure that in these situations we avoid civilian casualties. That is in direct contrast with Hamas, which uses people as human shields. It actually seeks to put Palestinian civilians in situations where they could be harmed. This is very much part of their game plan. So we know that Israel will take all of the precautions that it can, just as we would. And again, that's what separates us from Hamas and terrorist groups that engage in the most heinous kind of activities. Thank you. We'll have a chance to talk later. Thank you.
Para sa mas madaming update tungkol sa ating defense, abangan lamang ang aking mga bagong video. Para naman sa mga gusto magpa-shoutout, mag-comment lamang po at share, paki-follow at like muna ng aming page na nasa description na ang link. Pwede ka ring manalo ng pera or load dito kapag ikaw ay naging top fan nito at napili. Huwag mo na rin kalimutan mag-like, share, and subscribe. Pindutin mo na rin ang bell para updated kayo sa aking mga video. Maraming salamat po.